does not surrender.
Dr. Doom, or Victor Von Doom, is headed to the MCU. One of Marvel's greatest villains will be played by the MCU's biggest star, Robert Downey Jr. In honor of the Latverian ruler, we're taking a look at who Dr. Doom really is. Dr. Doom made his first full-fledged appearance back in 1962 in Fantastic Four #5. Dr. Doom is one of the Silver Age's most enduring characters. Doom's first appearance was light on background, but offered an iconic first reveal. In that initial raid, Doom is recognized by Reed Richards, aka Mr. Fantastic, as a former college classmate whose attempts to communicate with the dead led to an explosive incident. Doom first appears commanding a helicopter, but then the big guns are revealed. Doom's iconic time platform makes its first appearance and sends the Fantastic Four back in time. Another addition is Doom's use of a Doombot decoy, a robot disguised as Dr. Doom. 2 years after Dr. Doom's first appearance, Fantastic Four Annual Volume 1, Number 2 provided the character with a robust backstory that's arguably even more important to the character than his bombastic entrance. A segment entitled The Fantastic Origin of Dr. Doom finally brought the villain into context in the Eastern European country of Latveria. On the anniversary of his mother's death, Dr. Doom and his henchman Boris recount the events of Victor Von Doom's early life that ensured his trajectory as supervillain. Years earlier, Werner Doom, Victor's father and a healer, was summoned at the behest of the then Latverian king to cure the latter's wife of illness. Werner was unable to save the queen, and the king sent soldiers after him to take revenge. Werner fled into a perilously cold mountain range with his young son Victor in tow. Werner did not survive, and Victor was entrusted to the care of Boris. Sometime later, Victor comes across a chest containing his deceased mother's belongings. Cynthia Von Doom was a witch who previously engaged the dark arts. Cynthia sought power to combat the king's corrupt and wide-ranging influence. Striking up a deal with the demonic entity known as Mephisto, Cynthia gained the power to slaughter her enemies. Unable to control her powers, Cynthia ended up killing several innocents and then forswearing her gifts, which led to her ultimate death at the hand of a Kingsguard. Inside Cynthia's chest, Victor finds spellbooks and other magical paraphernalia. Victor becomes a devotee of sorcery and solidifies his personal notions of justice. At the same time, Victor Von Doom's precocity garnered unexpected attention from the dean at Empire State University, where he was offered a scholarship. It's there that he first crossed paths with Reed Richards, a classmate and rival in intellect. Victor's in-class experiments were centered around developing a device which could communicate with the dead, notably his mother. Despite a warning urging him not to prematurely use the device, Victor proceeds, leading to a catastrophic destruction that disfigures Victor and agitates the latent fury that he thought he'd left behind in Latveria. Victor reels and ultimately retreats to Tibet, where he learns both the discipline and techniques of magic to refine his purpose. From there, donning the iconic mask, Doom returns to Latveria and takes control of the country. It's here that Doom becomes the sworn foe of the Fantastic Four, and a complicated individual seeking revenge and justice for his mother's soul. In later instances, Doom attempts to free his mother's soul, and even calls upon Doctor Strange to assist him. These attempts stand in stark contrast to the villain who seeks world domination. Above all, Dr. Doom seeks order, and wants to lead the charge in reshaping the world to his own image. Doom's vendetta against Reed Richards, along with the rest of the Fantastic team, and his vision of a world under his purview, combine to create a villain who is at odds with himself and all the more compelling for it. Different Dr. Doom-centric comics over the years highlight different facets of the character. In the greatest examples, the character is far more than just a villain of simplistic goals, but rather a character who merely has a terrible way of going about his great ambitions. Doom is disciplined, but chooses to favor his own ideals over putting his talents to more universally helpful uses. He is an enemy because he is an extremist and powerful enough to draw attention. It remains to be seen how the Russo brothers, Joe and Anthony, will handle the iconic character's arc, but it's likely that with the title Avengers: Secret Wars, we'll see certain aspects of Doom's total takeover, especially in the composite battle world. If Doom is handled carefully and his various comic book arcs threaded with elegance, then it's likely that fans will receive a sympathetic character who is far more than just a destroyer of worlds. Thanks for joining us here at CBR. Victor Von Doom, better known as Doctor Doom, is headed to the Marvel Cinematic Universe. One of Marvel's greatest supervillains is set to be portrayed by none other than the man behind the other Iron Mask, Robert Downey Jr. Let's get to know Doctor Doom's origins a little better.
Regards from Victor Von Doom.
Way back in 1962, Doctor Doom made his comic book debut in Fantastic Four issue 5. In that initial appearance, seeds were planted, revealing that Reed Richards, better known as Mr. Fantastic, had a past with Doctor Doom, making for an exciting tease that would be fleshed out later. As far as characters go, there was little dimensionality to this first Doom appearance, but one thing was certain: he was a formidable foe for our heroes, only losing because fate deemed it so, along with Stan Lee and Jack Kirby. But Doctor Doom, one of the most iconic Silver Age characters, would live to fight another day and receive a robust backstory along the way. 2 years after Doctor Doom's debut, Fantastic Four Annual Volume 1, Issue Number 2 gave flesh to the bare bones of Doom's background. The fantastic origin of Doctor Doom instantly became one of Marvel's best and most influential backstories, so much so that people are still tinkering with it to this day. In the fictional Eastern European country of Latveria, somewhere at the crossroads of Hungary, Siberia, and Romania, Victor Von Doom is born. Latveria is an interesting place, not just for being a modernized medieval society, but for its embellishments such as high-tech weaponry, and for being where Doctor Doom is from and later rules. In Fantastic Four Annual Issue 2, Doctor Doom laments his mother's death on the anniversary of her untimely passing. With his main henchman Boris, Doom recounts his origins and how he came to take up the throne of Latveria. Flashback to a couple of decades earlier. Werner von Doom, Victor's father, is a Romani healer whose skills were of certain repute. Werner is sent for by Latveria's then-ruler, the despot king Vladimir, aka Vladimir Fortunov, aka Baron Tristan Mangegi de Sabat, to heal his wife, the ailing queen. However, Werner's methods proved ineffective against the queen's cancer, and she died a short time later. In turn, the king set his royal guard to hunt down and kill Werner. Werner absconded into the frigid wilderness with his young son Victor, at the time just a young boy. Through their arduous travels, Werner succumbs to the extreme cold, but not before Victor is entrusted into the care of Boris. Cynthia Von Doom's story is even more tragic. Cynthia was rightfully furious with the treatment of Romani people under the king's disturbed rulership. The king took several measures to disturb, hurt, and outright kill these unprotected citizens. Tired of their mistreatment, Cynthia sought supernatural means to kill the king. So it was that Cynthia gained an audience with the demonic entity known as Mephisto, who granted Cynthia powers beyond her wildest dreams. However, there was a dark twist to the bargain. In the most important incident to occur during Cynthia's lifetime, she went on a rampage, using her powers to kill members of the royal guard. However, as it turned out, the price for life was life, and several innocents, including children, were killed in the process. These actions, though intended to free her people, ultimately brought down the king's merciless retribution, costing Cynthia her life and leading to further calamities for the Romani people. Sometime after the death of both of his parents, Victor found his mother's belongings, a chest containing a wide array of magical items, from books to relics and more. Victor dove headfirst into studying these mystical items. This moment also solidified Victor's multi-fold sense of purpose. On the one hand, Victor desired nothing more than to speak with his deceased mother once again. On the other hand, his sense of justice, or lack thereof, would harden his sense of self-reliance, which would eventually become the problem of Marvel heroes everywhere. Concurrent to his study of the dark arts, Victor also began to explore science, possibly because he wanted to leave no stone left unturned in the pursuit of Romani liberation and the ultimate goal of resurrecting his mother. At his core, Doctor Doom is a student who will commit himself wholly to his practice if he believes in the end goal. Doctor Doom's commitment to understanding himself, his enemies, and the world makes him much more formidable than the average supervillain. Victor was offered a scholarship to university, a strange moment moment that would put Victor in the path of the man who would become his primary adversary, Reed Richards. From their first encounter, the relationship between Victor and Reed was adversarial. Even in jest, the two outspoken, deeply intelligent individuals saw worthy competition, which meant putting friendship on the back burner in favor of unhealthy one-upmanship.
Besides, Victor's not that bad. He's just a little larger than life.
In class, Victor pored over the development of a device that would allow him to communicate with the dead. Victor knew that the device's success would mean being able to communicate with his mother, Cynthia, in the plane beyond life. However, Victor's plans were thwarted. Victor was warned that his device would not work, but it was really thanks to tampering by Ben Grimm that ensured the experiment's utter disaster. When Victor turned on the device, it exploded. Thankfully, no one was hurt in the incident, except for Victor, whose face was severely disfigured. With his singed ego and new look, Victor was promptly expelled from the university, which solidified his lifelong grudge against the people who would eventually become the Fantastic Four. Victor's expulsion sends him packing, quite literally, traveling the world in search of meaning. Ultimately, he lands in Tibet, where he falls in with a group of monks who train him in various disciplines. It's here that Victor gains his armor, imbued with powers that only the monks could provide. The alloy itself is nearly indestructible. From Tibet, Victor returns to Latveria. Back in his homeland, Victor rallies the political dissidents and average citizens who have, until this moment, been at the mercy of King Vladimir. Victor kills the king and installs himself as the ruler of Latveria. Most importantly, he has the blessing of his people, who view him as a savior. People who will continue to support him through his quest of global dominance. Becoming Dr. Doom, Victor proceeds to use Latveria as his central base of operations, which ends up making the country a formidable global power in terms of resources, technological advancement, and more besides. While Doom could simply provide the necessary privations to his people and rule in relative peace, he sets his sights on expansion, believing himself to be the most deserving ruler of the world. But before his plans can go into effect, which countless comics will illustrate, he sets his sights on the Fantastic Four, particularly Reed Richards.
Now then, to our future.
Over the next several years, Doom will invade Fantastic Four storylines and cross over into other characters' comics as well, always with a new plan and new technology to aid him in his conquest. Early instances of Doom's attacks tend to prioritize the immediate danger that Doom presents over his larger plans, but eventually they come to light with stories like Secret Wars. It's also important to note that Dr. Doom isn't always the bad guy either, sometimes teaming up with the good guys, when it is mutually beneficial and for only as long as it is necessary. One notable example is when Doom teams up with Doctor Strange to go on a quest to find and save his mother's soul from Mephisto. Dr. Doom's timeline changes in detail depending on the authors who take up the cause. However, some aspects are present throughout each of Doom's journeys. For starters, he is always methodical in his plans of attack. Utilizing various self-invented technologies and the assistance of magic, Doom wages battles that are often personally motivated. When Doom's plans fail, he returns to the drawing board and folds the lesson into his next siege. When his mystical abilities aren't enough, he travels the globe, and throughout time in search of the right spell to give him the edge. Above all, Doom is relentless, which has given him staying power across all these comic book appearances. Hey, and thanks for joining us on CBR. At San Diego Comic-Con 24, Robert Downey Jr. has been announced to play one of Marvel's greatest villains, Dr. Victor Von Doom, better known as Dr. Doom. Iron Man himself is taking on a new role in the MCU for 2 upcoming Avengers films. While fans currently have more questions than answers, there are notable good and bad aspects to this decision. 2019's Avengers Endgame marked the last time that Robert Downey Jr. appeared on screen as part of the MCU. The movie provides a fitting send-off for his character, Tony Stark, who ultimately saves the day from Thanos' grasp at a hefty cost. With the actor's most iconic MCU role having arguably the most emotional ending for the entire franchise, it's a risky decision to bring the actor back at all. Avengers Doomsday and Avengers Secret Wars will put Robert Downey Jr. to the test. Dr. Doom will either be viewed as a stunt casting gimmick to revitalize the MCU, he could have a more complex explanation that fits in the established lore. One possible justification for Robert Downey Jr.'s Dr. Doom casting is that a Tony Stark variant could become Doom. Although this subject has been broached in the comics and mind-swapping with other scenarios, the two characters have also appeared together as separate entities. Still, their backstories contain enough overlap to tinker with the formula. Another option is that Stark and Victor Von Doom have absolutely no connection whatsoever. The upcoming Fantastic Four, which has a confirmed Galactus presence, won't focus on Doom. It could very well turn out that Tony's backstory might be retconned to cross paths with Dr. Doom, but there are no apparent reasons why this might be necessary. If Robert Downey Jr.'s Doom has never crossed paths with Stark, then there's no need to even look under the mask. If this version of Dr. Doom already rules Latveria, then there's no need to receive a full backstory of the character that ever shows his face. A fully realized Doom will address how he came to hide his face under a mask, but Robert Downey Jr. could provide a performance that's akin to Tom Hardy's Bane in Christopher Nolan's The Dark Knight Rises. Since the MCU embellishes characters with prosthetics and CGI, it's also a strong possibility that Robert Downey Jr. will be rendered entirely unrecognizable once it's seen on screen. It would be reasonable to expect that Dr. Doom, even without a mask, will bear no resemblance to Tony Stark, and that even his voice could be characterized with its own idiosyncrasies, like a Latvian accent. The problem with bringing back Robert Downey Jr. arises when it means bringing a version of Tony Stark back. The character's sacrifice in Endgame was a major gut punch for audiences, but it was the right decision that allowed humanity and its defenders to continue in a Thanos-free world. If Tony Stark is back, then it only draws more attention to the fact that the MCU, like the comics, has trouble committing to any character deaths. Endgame's emotional impact might be undercut by Robert Downey Jr.'s return. Fans have also taken notice that bringing Robert Downey Jr. back at a time when the MCU is faced with the Jonathan Majors controversy and a spat of less well-received films, that this casting decision is a Hail Mary to restore the franchise to its former glory. Robert Downey Jr. is likely playing an entirely new character, but it's a calculated move to bring the franchise's biggest star in to correct 3+ years of mixed results. One question is whether Robert Downey Jr. should be cast as Dr. Doom. MCU and other Marvel-adjacent properties often found ways to recast actors whose initial appearances were undeserved by less than fantastic films. With a world of talent at their disposal, the MCU choosing to cast its most recognizable star again is a strange move and a bold gamble.
It's a bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off for him.
With Robert Downey Jr.'s casting, many fans have been elated, but plenty others perceive the move as a tactless cash grab. Neither opinion indicates just how good the new Avengers films will be when they're released in 2026, 2027. Dr. Doom is one of the most well-known, fan-favorite villains. Legacy has never been properly captured on screen. Robert Downey Jr.'s casting could signal not just a new phase for the MCU, a soft reboot to the world that will introduce X-Men and the Fantastic Four, but a second wind that pulls back on the madness of variations and extraterrestrial locales. If Doom is handled right, then it doesn't matter who the man behind the mask is. What matters most is that the character is honored. It doesn't simply exist in the pattern of bigger and badder enemies.
Doom began corrupting your entire world.
Welcome and thanks for joining us here at CBR. Dr. Doom, one of the greatest Marvel villains of all time. Through battles against every major Marvel hero, Dr. Doom has been a mainstay of comics since 1962. His powers rank him among the strongest villains, and his personality makes him far more interesting than the average foe. Above all, it's Dr. Doom's many powers that make him such a compelling figure. From his first appearance in Fantastic Four issue 5 to the Secret Wars saga, Dr. Doom has shown that his greatest asset is his supreme intellect. A peer and rival to Reed Richards, Victor Von Doom has always been a deeply intelligent figure. Across countless comics, Doctor Doom has developed an arsenal of technologies that make him an unpredictable threat. Any single one of his inventions could be considered a centerpiece for a lesser antagonist. But for Doom, each invention is just one piece of a larger puzzle. For example, Doctor Doom's Doombots are the villain's army of robots. As replicas of Doom himself with a shield to guard against detectability and low-level telepaths, Doombots present a tactical advantage, with his mind replicated in sentience insofar as they recognize themselves to be the real Doctor Doom. Except when in proximity to the real Doom, the Doombots can cast a wide net of attack, appearing in multiple locations at the same time. Even further, Doombots make sure that Doctor Doom can take care of multiple threats to his rulership without ever putting himself in danger. Meanwhile, the real Doctor Doom can work on something else altogether more nefarious, while his minions do his bidding. One of Doctor Doom's earliest technologies is his time platform, which, as the name suggests, allows him to travel through time. As a convergence of both science and magic, the time platform allows Doctor Doom to travel into the past and set up a new reign under different circumstances. Considered tactically, Doctor Doom can go back in time, adjust a timeline per his specifications, set up shop as a de facto ruler, and then utilize his new era as a base of operations. Having to meet Doom on his own terms instantly puts any heroes at a tactical disadvantage. Beyond Doctor Doom's Doombot replicas, there are multiple variations to his raised armies. Doom's bio-enhancement technologies have created Latverian super soldiers. His mind control devices allow him to convince others to do his bidding. And then there are those who believe in Doctor Doom's rule, especially those who have been subjugated by the previous Latverian king's whims. In short, Doctor Doom can call upon robots, enhanced individuals, and devout loyalists to aid him in his quest. More than just a character who goes one-on-one with any hero or team, Doctor Doom is a playmaker who considers the chess pieces at a remove. Far more than just a way of masking his scarred visage, Doctor Doom's armor boasts several assets. In the event of certain battle, Doom can call upon an in-suit array of abilities. Chief among them are Super Strength, which allows Doctor Doom to engage in hand-to-hand combat with assurance that he won't soundly be defeated by brute force alone. Durability and Regeneration, which gives Doctor Doom the insurance against taking a beating and ensures that he will live to fight another day in the event of defeat. Teleportation, which functions as either a contingency plan against defeat or to surprise Doom's enemies. Energy Manipulation allows Doctor Doom to command bursts of energy to strike opponents and create a force field to deflect attacks. Most notably, however, is Doctor Doom's original source of power. Besides his preternatural gifts of learning, his mother Cynthia Von Doom's magical texts and potions. The implications of Doctor Doom's magical abilities means that there are many mysteries yet to be seen and feared. He is adept at arcane knowledge, able to use esoteric enchantments and sorceries. Doom can also produce illusions, serving to beef up his tactical advantage. Along with barriers, blasts, and teleportation assets that have been attributed to both technology and science, Doctor Doom possesses the ability to combine his resources, going in bold new directions. Above all, Doctor Doom's willingness to push himself beyond reasonable limits allows him to advance in skills across the board. Among all of the Doctor Doom's traits, his superlative tactical sense allows him to find just the right combination to take down his enemies. At heart, Doctor Doom is a chess master whose main operations require meticulous planning and incredible foresight. Certain narratives like Secret Wars may feature the villain at his most otherworldly, but it is because of his planning that he can steal the Beyonder's powers and put a plan of totalitarian control into full effect. Doctor Doom isn't always a villain, and in several instances has had to team up with the heroes to reach a common goal. In this way, there is a sense that Doctor Doom is still a sympathetic character, and many storylines to back up this assertion, which might prove to be his most cunning trait. Having history with Reed Richards, a powerfully sad backstory, and a desire to communicate with his deceased mother, there is much to suggest that Doctor Doom's aims aren't always merely about total domination. In fact, it is precisely because Doctor Doom is a fully realized character, with his own wants, desires, weaknesses, and strengths, that he is hard to pin down, and not so easily dismissed as another in the long line of Marvel villains. Doctor Doom can play sympathy to his advantage, which could lead to all sorts of disastrous results for those who choose to trust him. Conversely, the benefits of having someone like Doctor Doom on the hero's side go without saying. Dr. Doom is Marvel Comics' ultimate supervillain. The recent announcement that he will be entering the MCU promises huge developments that will shake the entire MCU to its core. But will his one true weakness hamper his bid for multiversal supremacy? Today at CBR, we're exploring what makes the world's supreme supervillain tick and how he is his own worst enemy. Victor Von Doom was once a bright and ambitious college student. Close friends with Reed Richards, Victor always sought more and more power, never settling for second best at anything. But when his arrogance and hubris got the better of him, Victor suffered a terrible accident that left his face hideously scarred. Driven by a single and unerring drive to become the most powerful being on the planet, Victor saw himself reborn as Dr. Doom. Sovereign of the nation of Latveria, Dr. Doom rules his country with an iron fist. Possessing a genius-level intellect, Doom is equipped with the world's most potent technology, utilizing armaments and weapons that not only keep his nation under heel, but the rest of the world on edge. As if being the world's wealthiest and most powerful sovereign wasn't enough, Doom is also an exceptional user of the mystic arts, second only to Doctor Strange. With the combined power of his intelligence, technology, and magic abilities, there is nothing that Doom cannot achieve. Dr. Doom has acted as a villain to nearly every major superhero team on the planet. He's antagonized the Avengers, entwined himself in the affairs of the X-Men, and most famously, been the arch-nemesis of the Fantastic Four. Wherever there is power to be gained, wherever there is dominance to be asserted, Dr. Doom will always be hot on its trail, ever eager to accumulate more. As one of the earliest supervillains introduced in Marvel Comics, Dr. Doom has decades of characterization and influence under his belt, setting the template for every other major villain to follow. Such a man would seem to be virtually undefeatable, and there have been several moments in history when Doom has actually succeeded in his quest for ultimate power over the world. In 1987's Emperor Doom story, Dr. Doom was able to gain control of the entire world and become its supreme ruler. In 2015's Secret Wars event, Dr. Doom elevated himself to becoming the single most powerful being in the entire multiverse, and so named himself God Emperor Doom. In both instances, Dr. Doom was second to none. There was not a single being or entity that existed above him in any possible regard. And yet, each time, Doom's one singular flaw presented itself and cost him everything. The true weakness that Dr. Doom possesses is his own indifference to godhood. He strives and strives to gain true power, but once it rests in his hands, he grows bored of it. In 1997's Emperor Doom, Dr. Doom grew discontent with his kingdom of Earth. He made the planet a utopia by ending all conflict, solving energy and food crises, and brought stability to all parts of the globe. But a life of trite politics began to wear him down, and deep within his heart, he began to miss the days when there was true excitement and danger in the air. As such, he relinquished his hold over the world and restored it to as it was. In 2015's Secret Wars event, a climactic showdown between Mr. Fantastic and Dr. Doom revealed once again that Doom's own insecurity was his downfall. Mr. Fantastic exclaimed to Doom that his act of attacking the Fantastic Four first was concrete proof that Doom knew Mr. Fantastic would have done a better job of wielding the Molecule Men's powers than he. As the dust settled after the event, Doom removed his mask and laughed. For all the death and destruction he caused, for all the conflict he gave birth to, and for all the power he wielded over the entire Mulletverse deep within his heart, Doom always knew that Reed Richards was his superior. It might seem bizarre that such a man with an insatiable appetite for dominance would want to dispose of it once gained, but every being is flawed in its own way. With Dr. Doom's reveal in the MCU, this ultimate weakness may yet play a part in his role. Something as tremendous and revelatory as his deepest secret might not be the very first means of Dr. Doom facing defeat, but with the Fantastic Four receiving their own movie next year, the classic rivalry between them and Doom will be established. Doom is not invincible, but he is one of the most terrifying, manipulative, and dangerous men on the planet. Regardless of what his goals are, absolute power will always be the dangling fruit that he will grasp for. It could be that Secret Wars will adapt the 2015 event, putting Doom in control of the entire multiverse, or it could be the first step towards such a gigantic transformation for the MCU. Proper pacing will be paramount in portraying Doctor Doom well. Such a supervillain needs time to breathe, to develop, and to prove himself as the multiverse's undisputed threat. The unfortunate development of Kang only confirms how imperative it will be to treat Doctor Doom with the care and attention his character deserves. There are countless possibilities for which direction the MCU can take when Secret Wars releases. Will it bring about a bright new future for the Fantastic Four and the X-Men? Or will it usher in the Age of Doom?
Hello, and thanks for joining us today here at CBR. Doctor Doom's upcoming presence in the Marvel Cinematic Universe has fans feeling strongly. Notably, Doom is one of Marvel's greatest and most complex villains. His immense skill set, including magical abilities and technological prowess, make him an essential Marvel character. However, Doctor Doom, like any great villain, will often utilize only aspects of his abilities in various instances, making him as mysterious as he is powerful. In Doctor Doom's very first appearance, Fantastic Four Issue 5, 1962, Doctor Doom's debut is light on backstory but offers a brief glimpse into Doctor Doom's array of technologies. Although it's established right there in Fantastic Four Issue 5, Doom's time platform is not his most used device, but it should be. The time platform allows Doctor Doom to send either himself or his enemies into the past. As far as overpowered equipment goes, the time platform is among the top devices that need to be limited in use because the ramifications are just too huge to allow Doctor Doom access whenever he chooses. If Doom sends his victims to the past, then they'll have to figure out a way to get back, if it's even possible. If Doctor Doom sends himself back in time, he can rewrite events so that they play in his favor in the future, altering events before they even happen. Most crucial to the time platform is that within Marvel, several mystical items exist. In that first appearance, Doom is seeking the Stones of Merlin, jewels of immense power that would potentially allow the villain to gain complete control of the world. Alternatively, Doom can raise armies or strategically plan so that the endgame is in sight long before the heroes even exist. Confronting Doctor Doom, it's absolutely necessary to make sure that he's nowhere near his most powerful technology. During Marvel's Secret Wars crossover event, Doctor Doom steals the Beyonder's powers. Once imbued with powers beyond his control, Doctor Doom gains the ability to reshape reality in his own image. He ends up creating Battle World, a collage-like world where multiple aspects of different planets are brought together to create an extreme enactment of a survival of the fittest philosophy. However, Doctor Doom's greatest weakness, his ego, allows for Reed Richards and the United Marvel heroes to weaken Doom's defenses and restore the universe. If Doctor Doom had the foresight to reflect on his own impulses, he could have won, but a unified front can break him down time and again. One of the greatest tricks that Doctor Doom has up his sleeves is that he never even has to be present. Ruling from Latveria or a remote compound, Doctor Doom can call upon his vast army of Doombots to do his bidding. Crucial to their computing is that the Doombots are programmed to believe that they are, in fact, Doom himself. The Doombots can serve in his stead, which means that in terms of numbers alone, Doom can gain a tactical advantage. It's hard to stop an enemy when they aren't even present. When Victor Von Doom's mother, Cynthia Von Doom, died, Victor took it upon himself to seek revenge against the vicious despot ruling Latveria. In the pursuit of vengeance, Doom discovers his mother's secret trove of mystical objects, to which he devotes years of study. This magic opens the door for countless Doom narratives to follow, in which the quest for power often considers what new forms of sorcery Doom can summon. Whether it's the Book of Vishanti or the Book of Sins, aka the Darkhold, Doctor Doom is well versed in esoteric arts that give him many powerful abilities. The only resonant truth across magical artifacts is that Doom is still Doom, and his own hubris means that he doesn't merely want the power, but to utilize it for his own gain. Even beyond his self-designed suit, Doctor Doom's sorcery is in a league of its own. A well-stocked Doctor Doom could potentially emit powerful blasts of energy, teleport across distance and realities, use telepathy, invoke illusions, and conjure robust energy shields. Depending on the artifacts Doom possesses, his abilities can change, and he might become so powerful that the other abilities really have no purpose. Above all, the best superpower that Dr. Doom has is his ability to learn. Dr. Doom is a student at heart and commits himself wholly to his projects. Various beams, rays, and gadgets are only as useful as the wielder's tactical decision-making, and Dr. Doom is a genius. It's not so much the immense arsenal that gives Dr. Doom power, but his ability to implement the proper item at the proper time.
The Avengers!
Yeah.
That's great!
Thank you.
What is that?
The casting of Robert Downey Jr. as Dr. Doom has sparked exciting speculations, especially regarding how this factor might tie into the MCU's multiverse saga. While it remains unclear whether Dr. Doom will somehow be a variant of the actor's previous role as Iron Man or a Victor Von Doom completely unrelated to Stark, the latest Marvel release actually already explained how this casting makes sense either way. Here's how Deadpool and Wolverine laid the rules of how likeness works in the multiverse. Deadpool and Wolverine was the third installment of the Deadpool franchise and marked the first inclusion of the X-Men in the MCU. While Wade Wilson travels the multiverse searching for a variant of Logan to replace his universe's late anchor being, he encounters multiple possibilities of the character. This hilarious montage features variants from the comics like Old Man Logan, who has his own comic series, and the crucified Wolverine from the cover of Uncanny X-Men number 251. It also shows that Logan looks like Hugh Jackman in most cinematic universes, but Henry Cavill in one in particular. This means that the same character can either have a completely different appearance or look strikingly similar, and even exactly the same across timelines. Additionally, Deadpool and Wolverine confirmed that two distinct characters from different timelines can share the exact same likeness. Chris Evans played both Captain America in the Marvel Cinematic Universe and the Human Torch in the early Fantastic Four films from before the MCU. Marvel could have simply ignored the existence of a Johnny Storm with Chris Evans' looks. Evans' Captain America and the Human Torch exist in separate realities, but share Evans' appearance, offering precedent for Downey's portrayal of two distinct characters. This detail in Deadpool and Wolverine suggests that Tony Stark and Dr. Doom may simply come from different universes. In that case, sharing a face is not unusual. If there is a Tony Stark in whatever universe this Doom will come from, he most likely looks nothing like Robert Downey Jr. In the end, whether Downey's Doom is a variant of Tony Stark or an entirely separate character, his casting ultimately fits the MCU's current moment and where the multiverse saga is heading. Do you think Deadpool and Wolverine purposefully explained Robert Downey Jr.'s casting as Dr. Doom? And is this good for the multiverse saga? Let us know your opinion in the comments below. In all the Marvel Universe, there is no supervillain more deserving of the title than Dr. Doom. The universe's most intelligent being and possessing the greatest arsenal of skills and weapons on the planet, Dr. Doom is Marvel's ultimate villain. Today at CBR, we're exploring 5 of Dr. Doom's powers. Anyone that has gone up against Dr. Doom in combat is aware of his army of Doombots. Aptly named, the Doombots are sophisticated robots that are equipped with devastating weapons and defensive capabilities. As Dr. Doom himself is often too busy at any given moment to personally see to every single dispute and skirmish within his home country of Latveria, Dr. Doom often sends out his Doombots to maintain peace and order throughout his dominion, and to attack any unwanted visitors as well. With such a formidable army of robots at his disposal, it would seem as if Dr. Doom already had a fantastic amount of power to wield, but the truth behind his control over his robot army may be difficult to believe. Dr. Doom possesses the ability of technopathy over his Doombots, or the ability to control a machine directly with his mind. This means that Dr. Doom can assert total control over his army and execute his exact wishes with absolutely no margin of error. Whatever Dr. Doom can wish, his robots will obey to a fault. This makes an already terrifying force of power even more deadly for anyone foolish enough to attack him. Dr. Doom can also extend this power to other machines as well, but it is his Doombots that he most frequently uses it on. To enter Dr. Doom's domain is to enter into a technological death trap where every single device could activate at the speed of a thought. This also makes it unwise to bring any technological device within range of Dr. Doom for fear of him exerting his control over it as well. Dr. Doom is regarded as the most brilliant mind in the Marvel Universe and one of the most gifted scientists in history. While his most impressive feats are centered around the fields of science and technology, there is another field that Dr. Doom is an expert in, one that gives him a significant edge over virtually all of his opponents: magic. Dr. Doom possesses a tremendous amount of power over the mystic arts, so much so that he rivals even Dr. Strange in his magical might. Dr. Doom was trained by Tibetan monks in the ways of magic, and even came in a close second to Dr. Strange himself when the Earth was to receive its next Sorcerer Supreme. Dr. Doom's ability to manipulate and harness magic was a necessity for him when he sought to free his mother's soul from the clutches of Mephisto. Dr. Doom also trained in the magical arts under the tutelage of Morgan Le Fay when he spent time in Camelot, further increasing his powers. Dr. Doom may not be as innately gifted in magic as villains such as Baron Mordo or Loki, but when combined with his other powers, he is a frightening force to be reckoned with. Dr. Doom's magical prowess ranks him above even Reed Richards himself in terms of power and brilliance. While Reed Richards is the undisputed greatest living genius on Earth, his brilliance only encompasses the fields of science, not magic. This puts him at a severe disadvantage against Dr. Doom, who has studied both religiously. Attacking Dr. Doom is much more than just firing the biggest weapon possible at him and hoping to damage his suit. It involves neutralizing his countless magical barriers and surviving an onslaught of mystical energies too. Dr. Doom's most iconic feature is his full body suit of armor. Well, also maybe his mask and green cloak too. While this is an amazing psychological tactic that invokes fear in any that dares to approach him, Dr. Doom's suit is far more than just a fashion statement. In order to maintain absolute power in every situation he may find himself in, Dr. Doom has outfitted his suit with the most advanced armaments on the planet. To begin with, Dr. Doom's armor is nigh invincible, made of a strengthened titanium alloy. It has also been tempered and augmented over the years to withstand blows from superpowered beings such as the Thing and the Hulk, and even extreme energy like fire blasts from the Human Torch. As his armor was forged through magical means, it also possesses several magical defenses as well, aiding him in battle against other magic users and the supernatural. Dr. Doom's armor is equipped with a bevy of rockets, missiles, lasers, and rays. It also possesses an electric shock mechanism, capable of emitting upwards of 100,000 megavolts of electric energy to anyone that merely touches his armor. While Dr. Doom prefers to engage in combat from a distance, proximity to him guarantees extreme injury or even death. Dr. Doom's armor is nuclear-powered and is equipped with various recycling features that can keep Dr. Doom alive and well in the depths of the ocean or the reaches of space. His armor can provide him with breathable air, consumable energy, and systems of recycling said energy. In cases of extreme emergency, Dr. Doom can also harness solar energy to fuel his armor, increasing his capabilities even further. In a practical sense, Dr. Doom's armor provides him with the power of flight, courtesy of integrated jetpacks. Should he find himself trapped deep within the ocean, Dr. Doom can even use his armor's thrusters to act as a torpedo, launching him at blinding speeds through the ocean. No matter where he is, on or off Earth, on terra firma, or at the bottom of the sea, Dr. Doom always has a mode of transportation out of any situation. One of the most astounding and terrifying abilities that Dr. Doom possesses is the means of transferring his soul to another living body. In Fantastic Four issue 10, it was revealed that Dr. Doom had learned the ability to transfer his soul into another living being. An alien race known as the Ovoids taught this impossible skill to Dr. Doom, where he instantly used it to switch bodies with Reed Richards. The very fact that Dr. Doom can project soul out of his body makes him virtually immortal. If Dr. Doom wanted to take over a person's entire life, he could easily swap their soul out and trap them within another body. While it is a rare occurrence for Dr. Doom to utilize this ability, it puts him on a completely different level than other supervillains. What this means is that any hero that is facing Dr. Doom can never truly know whether they are fighting the real version of him, a Doombot replacement, or even another person trapped within another body. To defeat Dr. Doom, if one should ever be so lucky, is to only incite doubt and suspicion. There are so many defenses and fail-safes, so many contingencies set in place, that besting Dr. Doom may not actually be beating him at all. Simply put, failure is beneath Dr. Doom, and even the most assured victory may be nothing more than a previously calculated outcome on Dr. Doom's end that is only meant to further his goals. There is no other supervillain quite like Dr. Doom. The very definition of what a supervillain is and should be. There may be many imitators, but there is only one true Dr. Doom. Today at CBR, we're diving into the history of comics' greatest supervillain of all time. The history of Dr. Doom. Dr. Doom made his first appearance in 1962's Fantastic Four #5 by Stan Lee and Jack Kirby. Covered head to toe in gleaming metal with a hooded emerald cloak billowing out behind him, the very visage of Dr. Doom evokes that of the Grim Reaper, Death incarnate. Egotistical to a fault and looking up at no one, Dr. Doom always demanded total dominance. Asserting himself as the arch-nemesis of the Fantastic Four, Dr. Doom began one of the longest and most colorful histories of any character within Marvel Comics. Dr. Doom's personal history is one of hardship and perseverance, but also of blinding ambition and jealousy. Born to a simple family people in the country of Latveria, Victor Von Doom was only a young boy when his mother was killed by the demon Mephisto. Victor's father was a healer and was ordered to heal a local leader's wife, but was unable to cure her of her cancer. His father fled the village late in the night knowing that he would be put to death. In his final acts, he gave Victor his clothes to keep him warm and died with him in his embrace. Victor would return to his people's camp and discover the truth about his mother's magical skills. Deciding to take up the magical arts as well, Victor then dedicated his entire existence to battling against the man known as the Baron, who had killed his father. Victor's actions eventually caught the attention of the Dean of Empire State University in New York City, so much so that Victor was brought to the United States where he was enrolled in the college. It was during his time at Empire State University that Victor would meet Reed Richards and Ben Grimm. Victor began to create a machine that would allow him to speak with the dead, but as Reed saw dangerous issues with the machine, he wanted Victor not to use it. He ignored Reed's warnings and activated the machine. It malfunctioned horribly and permanently damaged his face. Victor was expelled from Empire State University as a result of this accident, where he would find himself traveling the entire world. Pushed to his limits, Victor would pass out within a range of Tibetan mountains where a collective of monks rescued him. It was with these monks that Victor studied as much as he could in the mystic arts. Knowing that he was ready to revitalize himself with his newfound knowledge and power, Victor forged a suit of armor through both conventional and magical means. He donned the still searing metal onto his bare body, adhering it to his skin. Now clad in his iconic mask, Victor renamed himself Dr. Doom. His first order of business was to return to Latveria and lead a revolution against the powers that controlled the country. Victor was successful in his conquest and eventually installed himself as the ruler of the country. He renamed the capital city from Hasenstadt to Doomstadt and renamed its largest structure from Castle Sabbat to Castle Doom, thus cementing his position as supreme ruler of Latveria. As the ruler of Latveria, Dr. Doom began to focus all his efforts onto the destruction of the ones he blamed for his disfigurement and failure in contacting his mother's soul, the Fantastic Four. The Fantastic Four became the force that Dr. Doom would strike at with all his strength. Over and over again, Dr. Doom would attack the superhero team, but each time he would taste defeat at the hands of Marvel's first family. When the Fantastic Four learned of Dr. Doom's true name and history, they felt a deep sadness for the man. No matter how much they tried to explain to him that Reed was never at fault for the malfunction of Doom's machine, the tyrannical dictator would never listen to reason. A lifetime of pulling his way up from the bottom had hardened Dr. Doom's heart, making him impossible to reason with. Why Dr. Doom is so powerful. To understand why and how Dr. Doom is the most feared supervillain on the planet, it's necessary to examine his full range of powers. Dr. Doom is equaled only by Reed Richards in terms of brilliance and sheer genius. There is nothing that Dr. Doom cannot achieve when he sets his mind to it. a master at every possible field of study and on every subject on Earth. Dr. Doom is a polymath. Technology, science, medicine, art, history, magic. If it exists, Doom has mastered it. Dr. Doom's amazing intellect and genius aren't his only fantastic feats, but applying all his intelligence and focus to his combat capabilities, Dr. Doom is a walking army, an arsenal of world-breaking power. His armor is capable of withstanding blows from beings such as the Hulk. He is equipped with lasers, force fields, and rockets of every variety. His suit itself is equipped with extreme electric shock shielding and jetpacks. Through the augmentations of his armor, Dr. Doom is capable of performing feats of superhuman strength as well. And as if all these powers weren't enough, Dr. Doom's pursuits of the mystic arts have made him one of the most potent sorcerers in existence, second only to Doctor Strange. Dr. Doom is so gifted that he was acknowledged to be the runner-up as Earth's candidate for Sorcerer Supreme, a fact that immediately proves his might and mettle as a sorcerer. With the combined power of his technological arsenal and his magical skills, it's easy to understand why the world's mightiest heroes shiver when confronted by Dr. Doom. Dr. Doom's most important stories. Throughout his career as the ruler of Latveria, Dr. Doom has positioned himself as a living paradox. While he is feared the world over, he also maintains diplomatic immunity, a fact that has constantly alleviated him of answering to foreign law for the crimes he commits. But approaching him within his country of Latveria is considered an act of international aggression, a disturbing quandary that makes dealing with him extremely difficult and dangerous. Over the years, Dr. Doom has proven himself indisputably as the most ambitious and ruthless person to walk the Earth. In 1985's Secret Wars event, Dr. Doom took it upon himself to assert dominance over the ranks of the other supervillains, and even wage war against the omnipotence of the Beyonder himself. In 1987's Emperor Doom story, Dr. Doom performed the unthinkable. He subjugated the entire planet under his absolute control and became the ruler of Earth. In 1991's Infinity Gauntlet saga, Dr. Doom attacked Thanos in hopes of stealing the gauntlet for himself. In 2015's Secret Wars event, Dr. Doom leapt at the chance to gather the power of the Beyonders for himself, thus becoming transformed into God Emperor Doom. If ever there is a chance to obtain ultimate power, Dr. Doom will be there. Today, with Avengers Secret Wars due to completely overhaul the entire MCU from the ground up, it may finally be the time to see Dr. Doom receive his definitive cinematic incarnation. 2005's Fantastic Four was not a bad movie. In fact, it had several amazing cast picks, but it did not do Dr. Doom justice. The world's greatest supervillain was relegated to a one-note bad guy with a chip on his shoulder. An extremely truncated and altered origin story changed his character completely and left him as nothing more than just a quick KO for the Fantastic Four. And 2015's Fantastic Four movie, well, the less said the better. Secret Wars may finally be the time Dr. Doom fans have been waiting for their entire lives. With Robert Downey Jr. behind the iconic metal mask, there isn't a better actor worthy of taking on such an infamous role. What are your thoughts on Dr. Doom? Do you think he's going to be Marvel Comics' ultimate supervillain?
And your passion, and we will see you in 2 years with Doomsday.
Hello, and thank you for joining us here at CBR. Dr. Doom's arrival in the Marvel Cinematic Universe is imminent. Announced at SDCC 2024, Robert Downey Jr. will don a different Iron Mask, portraying Victor Von Doom in Avengers Doomsday and Avengers Secret Wars. While plot details are currently under wraps, fans are speculating as to what Dr. Doom's mission will be in Doomsday and how it will set up the grand finale of the multiverse saga.
Call me Doom.
Before Avengers Doomsday hits theaters in 2026, the MCU has plenty of movies lined up. One of the most anticipated is the Fantastic Four First Steps, which will be out sometime in 2025. While few plot details are known at this time, it is known that the quartet will already be operating as heroes within this universe, and that it will be set in a retro-futuristic version of the 60s. Most importantly, we know that the Fantastic Four will figure heavily into Avengers Doomsday and its sequel, and the team has a deep history with Victor Von Doom. It's possible that, given the past setting, the Fantastic Four are in a different universe entirely. Because we're still in the weeds of the multiverse saga, there's a possibility that this universal thread is outside of the MCU's primary world, Earth 616, which is not dissimilar to our own. This route has taken any breach between worlds through incursions, or perhaps a force as big as Galactus could mean that worlds are set on a collision course. Secret Wars, as much as it is a major showdown, is just as much about writing the trajectories of individual universes so that total annihilation will be avoided. It's also important to mention that a world in which the Fantastic Four are already hailed as heroes suggests that there's more to the backstory that will be revealed. If Reed Richards and the rest of the gang are the primary saviors of Earth's many threats within their own universe, then it will likely be addressed how they came to be. The best guess is that their origin story involves more than just the iconic space mission that radically transformed Reed, Sue, Johnny, and Ben. If, in fact, the Fantastic Four ended up traveling to another universe, then the infringement could spell future ramifications, of the sort that would need a figure or organization to correct. Deadpool and Wolverine, while a mostly lighthearted affair, was dense with the inner workings of the TVA, and how they respond to multiple timelines. In fact, there's even a whole scene in which Paradox shows a digital presentation illustrating what happens when threads are deemed unworthy of continuance, or overstep their bounds. Deadpool and Wolverine might have been primarily a way of getting two fan-favorite heroes in the same room for more than just a cameo, but it was also a way of establishing the TVA as an entity who are relevant, not just for their relation to the multiverse saga's previous big bad, Kang. The TVA's core tenet is to minimize multiversal infractions, and what better way than to establish that the Fantastic Four have done something terribly wrong in their pursuit of good, and that someone or something will have to fix it.
The larger the footprint you leave behind, the greater the risk of an incursion.
There has been no overt mention of Dr. Doom in the MCU thus far, although that won't stop fans from searching for hidden references. There's a chance that Victor Von Doom will appear, at least in a minor capacity, within First Steps, but it's not entirely certain or necessary. In 2025, answers will be provided, but the Fantastic Four may have left their previous lives behind.
You want it back? Come and get it.
If Dr. Doom is handled with any manner of tact, then he won't just appear hot out of the gate with a plan to rule the world. The MCU and its guides know by now that nothing falls flatter than a villain who simply wants revenge, control, or some other odd thing, and doesn't have the backstory to back it up. Enter Doom. Victor Von Doom's backstory is complex, even if sometimes his motivations are purely hubristic. To honor his role in the MCU and the actor playing him, fans will need a robust backstory and a twist to the typical form that the villain takes. However, it might be some time before we receive the full backstory of how Doom came to don the armor. From a logistical standpoint, the most important thing for the MCU to deal with right off the bat is all of the disparate threads that are currently in place. What the audience hasn't received as of yet is a sense of coherence. Magic, futuristic technology, aliens, gods all exist within the MCU. If that's not enough, the infinite amount of variations means that there are versions of worlds in which slight tweaks and alterations are made. Good guys can be bad guys can be good, heroes can be anonymous citizens, and some worlds could be lopsided with too many Kangs. For Doom to enter the scene now, let's just quote Deadpool. It's a bit of a low point. One clue to the MCU's approach is the choice to bring back Joe and Anthony Russo, who certainly know how to give each character their due time in the spotlight. No other MCU directors have been as logistically concerned with how the pieces fit as much as the emotional impact of each decision. Following Avengers Infinity War's approach, Doomsday could put us in the shoes of Dr. Doom, instantly defining him as the current villain the way that Thanos was established as someone who can do a lot of damage, even without the aid of gemstone enhancements.
Victor, don't do this!
There is no Victor. There is only Doom.
A grand entrance for Doom is all that's needed right away. The backstory can come into play later and might even be all the more impactful if reserved for Secret Wars. The most important thing to handle right away is Dr. Doom's utter dominance on the battlefield. Still, there's a dangling, unspoken thing: Kang. Doom has to make his first order of business ousting the previous big bad from the equation and all of his variants. After all, Doom wants nothing less than incursions to stop. What better symbolic way of the MCU righting the missteps of the multiverse than by introducing a villain whose primary purpose is to unify everything into a cohesive whole? Whether or not Victor Von Doom will be an individual from Fantastic Four's offshoot universe, or if he hails from Earth 616 remains to be seen. It's possible that Doom could become strengthened in his resolve due to a perceived betrayal on behalf of Reed Richards, but it doesn't mean that they necessarily have to follow the comic book route of making them former classmates. Victor Von Doom's universe, the one which the Fantastic Four left, could be subject to great pain and suffering, which Doom will likely rise against as the sole hero. In Doom's universe, whichever one that may be, he might technically even be the equivalent of Tony Stark, at least visually reminiscent of, if not similar in career trajectory. What will make or break the character is just how much audiences can connect with the fact that Doom believes himself to be the true rightful ruler of the world, a protector, even if his methods can sometimes be cruel.
Mr. Von Doom.
Dr. Doom is the deus ex machina the MCU so desperately needs at this point in time. In fact, he's sort of the hero, or at least believes himself to be. If Doom's casting is any indicator, he believes himself to be something of a Tony Stark, the person who can make decisions that will greatly impact others, for better or worse. Dr. Doom wants to unify the threads, removing the possibility of incursions. To do so, he may even need to form an alliance with the heroes, which could be addressed early on in Doomsday.
You know, I've never been the giving type, Reed.
Audience expectations and decades worth of comic books tell us that Doom is mostly not a great guy. Even if his character sometimes earns our sympathies, it's only important that he believes himself to be the hero, and that this ultimately puts him in the path of the Avengers and any other character introduced across the next few films in the lead up to Doomsday. Doomsday will need to do many things at once. First, it will have to wipe the slate of Kang, as a move to illustrate power and to solidify Doom's purpose within the MCU. Second, Doomsday has to lay the groundwork for Secret Wars, meaning that the film will likely end with the creation of Battleworld, the ideal domain for someone such as Doom. Third, Doom will have to have his backstory hinted at or illustrated clearly so that we understand, like Thanos, just what it is that makes him tick. If he's going to play the hero, then it's only necessary to establish why he would have the name Dr. Doom and still imagine himself to be anything other than a villain.
I can't let you do that.
Of all the supervillains that exist within the Marvel Universe, none are as ultimate, as complete, and as imposing as Victor Von Doom. His very name and countenance invoke the deepest of dread. Today at CBR, we're diving into the history of Marvel's greatest supervillain, Dr. Doom. Origin of Dr. Doom. The Fantastic Four are known as Marvel's first family for a very important reason. They kick-started what was known as the Marvel Age of Comics. When the Fantastic Four launched in 1961, they laid the foundations for what the Marvel Universe would become. As the Fantastic Four grew in popularity, it would be in Fantastic Four number 5 that one particular villain would make his debut. A villain that would grow to become the ultimate representation of what a supervillain could be. Dr. Doom made his first appearance with all the appropriate pomp and circumstance. Doom proclaims his hatred of the Fantastic Four, deigning them his arch rivals, and that he will never rest until they have been defeated by his hands. Encased within a full-body suit of gleaming armor and enrobed in a flowing emerald cloak, Dr. Doom possesses a visage not unlike that of the Grim Reaper himself. While many heroes and villains opt to wear masks to cover their faces to hide their true identities, Dr. Doom wears his mask not to hide his identity, but to make it utterly unforgettable. It would be revealed over the years that Dr. Doom's hatred of the Fantastic Four stemmed from a single accident that occurred when his younger self, one Victor Von Doom, had chosen not to heed the warnings of his university classmate, Reed Richards. When Victor's experimental machine misfired and detonated, he not only suffered an injury to his face, but he was expelled from Empire State University as well. Now forced to roam the Earth, Victor cursed Reed Richards and blamed him for his terrible stroke of awful luck. It would be years before Victor Von Doom gained an impressive amount of magical training from a secretive collective of monks. It was also by these monks that he acquired his suit of magically enhanced armor. By donning the still searing metal, Victor Von Doom scarred himself permanently and thus became forevermore Dr. Doom. Under his new identity, Dr. Doom returned to his home country of Latveria and initiated a revolution that resulted in him becoming its sole and undisputed leader. With his own castle, his own country, and limitless resources to his name, Dr. Doom had positioned himself to become one of the most powerful and dangerous beings on the planet. As a villain. Dr. Doom as a supervillain exists within both ends of the moral spectrum. He is ruthless, tyrannical, egocentric, and demands absolute obedience at all times on pain of injury or death. However, he is also a noble and honorable man and has been known to lend aid to those in need. Dr. Doom's subjects in Latveria truly love him as a ruler because of the quality of living he provides them. As was proven in the Emperor Doom story, the world was ushered into an age of peace and prosperity like no other under his rule. He erased poverty, bigotry, and squalor. Of course, this was all achieved by means of a global mind control device, and yet, it is impossible to also suggest that Dr. Doom is not a supervillain at heart. He is a twisted, arrogant, and tortured man who has erected walls of arrogance and superiority to hide his flaws. He blames Reed Richards needlessly and has even been a key player in his own fate and downfall over the years. The true outcome of his original accident at Empire State University has long been debated. Did Doom truly injure himself as gravely as he states, or was it a mere blow to his pride that wounded him so? And if it was nothing more than a simple injury, was Doom's decision to place his burning metal mask over his face an act of willpower or blind stupidity? As Dr. Doom has established himself to be the arch nemesis of the Fantastic Four, so too has he established himself to be an adversary to nearly every major superhero on the planet. He has battled the Avengers. He has become involved with the lives and fates of the X-Men. He has battled Excalibur and Iron Man and has even appeared alongside Spider-Man and Doctor Strange. In fact, one of his most definitive stories of all time tells of how he nearly became Earth's Sorcerer Supreme. In Doctor Strange and Doctor Doom, Triumph and Torment, Doom enlisted the aid of Doctor Strange to help Doom free his mother's soul from the depths of hell. In the story, Doom is shown offering Strange respect, hospitality, and attentiveness, albeit in a cold and unyielding manner. Doom suffers no fools, and he most certainly does not ask for nor give sympathy, but he is not a man incapable of giving credit when credit is due. Unlike other supervillains like Red Skull, Thanos, and Apocalypse, Dr. Doom does not wish to rule the world upon a throne of ash. Wanton destruction, bigotry, and savagery are beneath Doom. His will is indomitable and his actions often without mercy, but he is not a mindless monster. If his subjects choose to live by his law, then they can have a very comfortable existence. This can be seen in no better an event than 2015's Secret Wars event. When Dr. Doom gains an incalculable amount of power, he becomes God Emperor Doom, the ruler of all the multiverse. His new plane of existence, Battleworld, is a relentless and horrific place in many regards, but it is also a place of order and fairness, as long as its denizens accept Doom as their absolute god. Possibly one of the most important evolutions that Dr. Doom has experienced over the years has been his shift from single-minded authoritarian to a much more complex tragic villain. By pitting Doom against imposters, robot clones, and his own desire for power, even at the cost of the few things he loves, Doom has been given room to breathe as a character. His desires may still be selfish, but when the fate of his entire country is at hand, it can be debated if Doom's conquest for power has the smallest fragments of altruism in them. Dr. Doom's current evolution. But what is perhaps Dr. Doom's most interesting character development is how, despite his endless appetite for domination, Doom harbors a great deal of self-doubt within himself. As Emperor of Earth, Doom grew bored with perfection and peace. As God Emperor, Doom admitted that Reed Richards could have ruled better than he. In fact, he once admitted that godhood ill-suited him in the long run, as it presented an existence without struggle or challenge for him. After countless battles, plots, and schemes, Dr. Doom finally realized that what he had been striving for was not what he truly wanted at all. It may seem strange to even consider that, but Doom is a man of intellect and principle. Paradise and utopia are naught but existences of the utmost banality to him. This is not to say that Dr. Doom has completely turned a new leaf, not in the least. Wherever this is power, Doom will hunger for it. Stagnancy is akin to death to Dr. Doom, and he will always strive to conquer the next biggest and most challenging obstacle before him, regardless of who or what stands in his way. Do you think Dr. Doom has evolved well over the years? Would you still consider him to be Marvel's ultimate supervillain after he's admitted that omnipotence is not what he wants anymore?
What can I tell you? I like playing complicated characters.
Spider-Man, Iron Man, Black Panther. The list of superheroes who have fought Dr. Doom in Marvel Comics is long, but who is his biggest enemy? Let's dive into Doom's history with Mr. Fantastic and what it tells us about the future of Marvel movies. Victor Von Doom was introduced to Marvel Comics in the Fantastic Four series in 1962. A megalomaniac super genius, Victor was born in Latveria to a witch who lost her soul to Mephisto. Driven by revenge and hatred for the demon, Victor spent his formative years becoming a master in both science and magic. He attended Empire State University, where he and Reed Richards became college roommates and rivals. One day, obsessed with communicating with his mother, Doom constructed a dangerous device. Reed noticed a flaw in it and warned Doom that it could lead to disaster. However, Doom dismissed it as an insult to his genius. The machine exploded, disfiguring him. Rather than accepting responsibility for the accident, he blamed Reed, as seen in the Fantastic Four Annual No. 2 from 1964. After the accident, Doom was taken in by monks in Tibet, who helped him forge a suit of armor and an iron mask. This is when he adopted the alias Dr. Doom and embraced a villain identity. He started targeting the Fantastic Four to torture Reed. He envies their family, kidnapping Sue Storm and manipulating Reed's daughter Valeria in different storylines throughout the decades. Dr. Doom and Mr. Fantastic have had countless confrontations in Marvel Comics since 1962. Most notably, the Secret Wars storylines from both 1984 and 2015 put Reed Richards specifically in the front line of heroes trying to stop Doom in his God Emperor era. Casting major stars Robert Downey Jr. and Pedro Pascal as Dr. Doom and Mr. Fantastic, the MCU is signaling the Secret Wars storyline will revolve around their rivalry in the movies as well. Despite their enmity, both seem to respect each other's intellect. Doom often acknowledges Reed as his only true intellectual rival, making Reed's defeat a central goal to Doom. Their rivalry is interesting because it's more than just a good guy versus a bad guy. Victor and Reed and two sides of the same coin. Their conflicts raise questions about ego and how good or evil can be paths characters choose instead of their defining traits. What character do you like most, Dr. Doom or Mr. Fantastic? Let us know in the comments. Welcome to CBR. Dr. Doom may be new to the Marvel Cinematic Universe, but the comics character has already appeared in many other adaptations over the decades. One of Marvel's most iconic villains, he has been captivating audiences worldwide across movies, animated television series, and even video games. Whether he's taking on the Fantastic Four, the Avengers, or the entire Marvel Universe at once, Doom always presents a challenge that pushes others to their limits. He has sometimes been portrayed inaccurately, but even the bad versions of the character have a lot of power and epic fight scenes. So today, we are breaking down what happens in 7 of his biggest battles outside of comics. The 2005 Fantastic Four film introduced Dr. Doom to the big screen, with Julian McMahon playing Victor Von Doom. The final battle between Doom and the Fantastic Four in New York City is the highlight of the movie. Doom faces the entire team by himself, using his energy manipulation abilities to devastating effect in the city. This fight is particularly memorable because the Fantastic Four, who had been struggling to work as a cohesive unit throughout the movie, finally come together to defeat Doom in this moment. This battle is significant for the development of the team, as only their collective strength is able to overcome Dr. Doom's power. In the end, Johnny and Sue work together to envelop Doom in an agonizing giant fireball they call a supernova. Then, Reed and Ben work together to knock down a hydrant and rapidly cool down the hot metal from his armor and mask, essentially turning Doom into a statue. In the 2007 sequel Fantastic Four: Rise of the Silver Surfer, Doom returns with a dangerous plan. After stealing the Silver Surfer's board, Doom becomes even more powerful than he already was. The fight that stands out the most in the film features Doom taking on the Human Torch while Galactus approaches Earth. Although insecure about his abilities, Johnny absorbs the powers of his teammates and becomes a one-man Fantastic Four. This fight is a thrilling showcase of the Human Torch's willpower, as he must push his newly combined powers to the limit to stop Doom. The stakes are high, as Doom's refusal to give up the board may cost the Earth's demise. The battle is visually impressive, with both combatants flying high and fast. Johnny is eventually able to immobilize Doom and burn up the circuits in his suit that allowed him to control the Silver Surfer's board. Ben then uses a crane to knock him away into the water. Although the 2015 Fantastic Four reboot changed Dr. Doom's story completely, the movie at least made him incredibly powerful. In fact, he was so powerful he should have won the movie's final battle, which is one of the reasons why this is considered the worst Fantastic Four adaptation by many fans. The movie stars Toby Kebbell as Victor Von Doom, who comes back from Planet Zero with his iron armor fused with his body. After absorbing energies from the alien planet, he gains immense telekinetic powers. Doom then seeks to create a new empire on Planet Zero by using Earth's resources, linking dimensions through a quantum gate he creates. The Fantastic Four's strategy and teamwork seem weak compared to Doom's abilities at this point in the movie, given that he could have easily killed them with his telekinesis. But in the end, the Thing punches Doom into his own energy converter, causing him to be disintegrated. In the 2010 animated series The Avengers: Earth's Mightiest Heroes, Dr. Doom faces the superhero team in the second season's premiere episode, titled The Private War of Dr. Doom. This battle is particularly exciting as it shows Doom's tactical brilliance and his ability to take on two teams of the world's greatest heroes at once by himself. In the episode, Doom kidnaps Sue Storm to lure the Avengers and the Fantastic Four to Latveria, where he has set up a trap to test their weaknesses and study their powers. Doom manipulates events and an army of Doombots from behind the scenes, proving that he is always several steps ahead of his enemies. The battle is not just a physical confrontation, but also a psychological one, with Doom using his vast array of technological and mystical abilities while meticulously observing them. It is only the beginning of the season's arc, but it was one of Dr. Doom's finest moments in the entire series. In the 1994 Fantastic Four animated series, one of Doom's most notable battles takes place in the Season 2 episode, And a Blind Man Shall Lead Them. Doom uses his advanced weaponry and magic to take on the 5 superheroes at the same time. The fact that the Fantastic Four are powerless during much of this battle raises the stakes considerably. However, their ingenuity and the assistance of Daredevil are enough to temporarily stop Doom in the end. In the 1994 animated series Spider-Man, Season 5 brings out Dr. Doom in the Secret Wars story arc. In the episode Doom, the villain gains control of the Beyonder's powers, becoming a godlike being who's capable of reshaping reality itself. This battle is significant because it shows just how dangerous Doom can be when he has access to unlimited power. All heroes join forces to stop Doom, including Spider-Man, the Fantastic Four, and other iconic characters. With Avengers: Secret Wars coming in 2027, fans are eager to see if the MCU will have a better adaptation than this iconic version of Secret Wars from the Spider-Man animated series. In the 2006 role-playing video game Ultimate Alliance, Dr. Doom serves as the main antagonist alongside his supervillain team Masters of Evil. This is widely considered the most accurate adaptation of the character, and the game's Dr. Doom is arguably his most menacing version outside Marvel Comics. In the game's final battle, the heroes travel to Latveria to face Dr. Doom after he has succeeded in conquering Earth. The player must battle through Doom's forces and ultimately face Doom himself in a climactic showdown. The heroes use the Macran Crystal and Muonic Inducer to weaken Doom, and that's how he can be defeated. In the episode Doomed from the 2012 animated series Ultimate Spider-Man, Doom faces a team of superheroes who had recently joined a S.H.I.E.L.D. trainee program. Nick Fury had assembled this team of young heroes with Spider-Man, White Tiger, Iron Fist, Power Man, and Nova. The episode starts with the newly formed S.H.I.E.L.D. team training and then traveling to Latveria to fight Dr. Doom. The villain outsmarts Nick Fury and the heroes throughout the story, eventually infiltrating the helicarrier to sabotage S.H.I.E.L.D. The heroes then need to fight Doom's army of Doombots. In the end, Doom appears on the screens, revealing he was safe in Latveria the whole time. He lets the team know he has analyzed their every strength and weakness, and they'll suffer terrible consequences if they ever cross his path again. Spoken like a true supervillain. Dr. Doom's battles across various media underscore his versatility and legacy as a Marvel character. Doom's genius, combined with his mastery of both science and magic, ensures that he will remain one of Marvel's most enduring and dangerous villains. Fans are excited that more epic battles featuring Dr. Doom are coming soon with Avengers Doomsday and Avengers Secret Wars. But for now, all we can do is look back and appreciate the original and the previous adapted versions of the character.
What can I tell you? I like playing complicated characters.
Victor Von Doom, the brilliant yet ruthless supreme leader of Latveria, is one of the most iconic villains in Marvel Comics. As the MCU continues to explore multiversal themes and cosmic threats, Dr. Doom stands poised to take over on a grander scale than all previous villains seen in the MCU. As the MCU continues to explore multiversal themes and cosmic threats, Dr. Doom stands poised to take over on a grander scale than all previous villains seen in the MCU. Here's a look at how Marvel Studios might bring Dr. Doom to the forefront of the MCU. It's no coincidence Robert Downey Jr. was cast to play Dr. Doom, with the Russo brothers also returning to direct the upcoming Avengers movies. This decision signals Marvel Studios' intent to make Doom a key figure in the MCU. Downey Jr., whose portrayal of Iron Man was central to the MCU for over a decade, has stated that he would only return to the franchise if directed by the Russo brothers in a compelling story that honors the legacy of his character. Considering Downey Jr. is at a high point in his career, recently winning an Oscar for playing Louis Strauss in Oppenheimer, his involvement in the role and the early announcement of his casting suggests a major commitment by Marvel to make Dr. Doom one, if not the main character. Iron Man and Dr. Doom have a lot in common. Both have big personalities, are highly ambitious, and are geniuses who rely on advanced technology and wear an iron armor. We still don't know if Victor Von Doom and Tony Stark will be connected at all in the MCU. Casting Downey Jr. specifically for Doom instead of introducing a fresh face does hint at Marvel's intention to draw parallels between these two characters. By casting Downey Jr., Marvel seems to be giving Dr. Doom the same narrative weight and impact that Tony Stark had in his own saga. Maybe Doom will represent an equally pivotal role that brings a full circle moment. While Tony Stark was an anti-hero who joins the Avengers and fights bad guys like Loki and Thanos, now that Loki found his redemption, he will have to help the Avengers fight Doom to save the multiverse. So, although we've seen Robert Downey Jr. in a role where he's fighting Loki alongside a team before, we might see that again, but in an opposite context. This twist might be the exact kind of creative challenge that convinced Downey Jr. to return. Another parallel universe scenario would be Doom assembling his own Dark Avengers, or being a part of Intelligentsia, which would represent an evil version of the Avengers. Intelligentsia is a group formed to exchange information between evil masterminds, which includes the leader, who we'll see in Captain America, Brave New World. In the comics, Intelligentsia has orchestrated massive schemes. We suspect that the Avengers movies will see Doom taking over the MCU by slowly accumulating power, starting with his ruling of Latveria and the Intelligentsia schemes. This would establish Doom not just as a mere villain, but as a formidable geopolitical leader, tightening his grip on the world before expanding his reach to the multiverse. Doom can evolve into a godlike figure in the multiverse, capable of destroying and creating worlds. But his takeover will start on Earth 616 with the help of villains like the Leader. He'll plot to take down Wakanda, the United States, and other countries, as Intelligentsia is known for doing exactly that in the comics. Something else that might be taken from comics is how Doom is capable of betraying his team when needed. Doom is not from the main Marvel universe. He'll most likely come from the same universe as the Fantastic Four First Steps is set in. Victor Von Doom first appeared in the Fantastic Four #5 back in July 1962, and his rivalry with Reed Richards is one of the most iconic in Marvel Comics. It's unclear whether Dr. Doom will appear in other movies other than the Avengers Doomsday and Secret Wars, but the character certainly could. Doom is uniquely positioned to interact with a wide array of characters in the MCU given his extensive history. He is not just the archenemy of the Fantastic Four, but has also been an adversary to many other Marvel heroes, from the Avengers to the X-Men. He could be behind major events in upcoming movies like the Fantastic Four, Captain America, Brave New World, Spider-Man 4, and Thunderbolts, even if he's not actually seen in them. Marvel can explore Doom's extensive power by also linking him to past multiversal events from Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, The Eternals, and Spider-Man: No Way Home. The MCU can position him as a bridge between the multiverse's chaotic past and a climatic resolution. His ambition is never limited to world domination. Doom seeks to control everything, a goal that could involve harnessing advanced technologies that would be explained in movies other than the new Russo brothers' Avengers duology. In the comics, Doom also often tries to augment his abilities through stealing other people's powers. So from Galactus to the Sentry, the upcoming MCU movies will introduce some interesting characters that could be subdued by Doom and have their powers stolen. In the MCU, Doom's rise could be portrayed as a slow but strategic takeover. Utilizing his Latverian base, Doom could amass technological and mystical power, build alliances or manipulate global politics, and position himself as the leader humanity needs in times of crisis. His ability to blend technological innovation with mystical prowess makes him a multifaceted threat who could realistically take over the multiverse. Doom could decide to create a new world to his taste. In the 2015 Secret Wars storyline, Doom becomes a godlike ruler of a patchwork reality composed of remnants of destroyed universes called Battleworld, as seen in Secret Wars Volume 1, Number 9. His quest for power could culminate in an epic showdown including heroes from the entire multiverse set in the Battleworld after incursions destroyed all other universes. The aftermath would be a completely new reality. By establishing Doom as a character with knowledge and influence over multiverse events, the MCU can use him to basically erase past multiverse occurrences and reinvent reality, making him an integral piece of the overarching narrative and a good way to reboot. And if the upcoming Avengers movies will be to the multiverse saga what the last Avengers movies were to the Infinity Saga, we can see why Kevin Feige wanted Robert Downey Jr. and the Russo brothers at the forefront. This creative reunion sets the stage for Dr. Doom to not just take over the MCU, but to redefine it entirely. Although fans would love to have Robert Downey Jr. in the MCU indefinitely, the most probable outcome is that Dr. Doom will be defeated by the Avengers and their several allies from around the multiverse at the end of Avengers, Secret Wars, and never return. This means we will find out exactly how Dr. Doom will take over the MCU during the course of the next 2 years until Secret Wars comes out in May 2027, when we will finally see his epic downfall. He will most likely travel from the universe introduced in the Fantastic Four First Steps to Earth 616, where he will slowly gain influence and political power. His obsession with ruling over his own utopia will lead him to seek control over the entire multiverse and recreate it, and he will eventually have every living superhero and maybe even every living supervillain of the multiverse against him in the end. Now that we went through our theory, let us know in the comments what are your expectations for Dr. Doom's rise to power in the MCU. Welcome to CBR. Robert Downey Jr.'s Dr. Doom will certainly shake things up in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. While we eagerly wait to find out the villain's cinematic storyline, let's remember the most significant heroes who have defeated Dr. Doom in Marvel Comics. Will similar heroes defeat him in the movies? The announcement of Dr. Doom as the main antagonist in the upcoming Avengers movies was not that surprising. After the Fantastic Four reboot was announced, fans were expecting the Avengers movies to involve the family and possibly one of their enemies. Doom was first seen in Marvel Comics in a 1962 Fantastic Four storyline and remains one of their biggest foes. Reed Richards' Mr. Fantastic from the Fantastic Four has been the one to defeat Doom multiple times. One of the most famous battles between Dr. Doom and the Fantastic Four happens when Doom steals the Silver Surfer's cosmic powers. Doom becomes nearly omnipotent, but Reed Richards outsmarts him by using Doom's arrogance against him. Reed tricks Doom into flying too close to Galactus' barrier, which strips him of the Surfer's power. In the late 1980s, Doom became an anti-hero in a beloved Doctor Strange series where they team up. Doom seeks the aid of Doctor Strange to rescue the soul of his mother from Mephisto. The story is mostly about Doom's internal struggles. Strange shows Doom that his greatest weakness is his inability to let go of his pride, even when dealing with the fate of his mother's soul. They succeed in rescuing his mother, Cynthia, but Doom is ultimately defeated by his worst enemy, himself. Doctor Strange doesn't defeat Dr. Doom in the traditional sense. Still, Strange ends up a winner and Doom a loser, because one has learned and grown from the team up and the other hasn't. The story gives a glimpse of what a heroic Doom could be like and what makes him a better villain after all. An Avengers series featuring the Young Avengers had Wanda Maximoff overcoming Victor Von Doom's mind control. Dr. Doom manipulates the Scarlet Witch into using her reality-warping powers for him. Doom seeks to use Wanda's abilities to fix what he perceives as flaws in the world and gain control over the universe. However, the Young Avengers are at the forefront to stop Doom and help Wanda. The Young Avengers confront Doom and Wanda. Eventually, the Scarlet Witch regains control of her powers and strips Doom of the abilities he has taken, defeating him. Fans might have mixed feelings about Robert Downey Jr.'s return, but there is no doubt that Dr. Doom is one of the greatest Marvel villains of all time. There's also a good chance he will save the MCU. Dr. Doom's appearance in the MCU will occur either within Avengers, Doomsday, or possibly before in 2025's The Fantastic Four, First Steps, or another upcoming MCU film. Regardless of when Doom appears, he is going to be the final major antagonist of the multiverse saga, culminating in Avengers: Secret Wars. While there's no doubt about Dr. Doom's immense appeal as a villain, there's been some question of how good the latest couple of MCU phases have been in comparison to earlier phases, specifically in the wake of 2019's Endgame. The biggest issue has been that the MCU has increasingly expanded its borders, reaching into the multiverse, where up is down, left is right, and the rules of everyday living are subject to the whims of whatever writers dream up. In short, there's far too much going on conceptually to feel grounded, and in terms of characters, far too many have been introduced that don't have the same level of appeal as the original run of the MCU's Avengers. There's nothing wrong with the latest characters. It's that they are walking in the footsteps of characters who have already left their mark, making the best moments seem redundant, and the worst seem like a pale imitation with different characters. Dr. Doom presents an opportunity to reinvigorate the MCU, if that's the direction Marvel chooses to go. Dr. Doom's plans in the comics, the ones that led to the Secret Wars, were originally founded on incursions. In theory, Dr. Doom could, in the pursuit of his villainous plot, also solve the problem of too many universes by stopping the incursions altogether. Dr. Doom could bring the MCU back to a relatively earthbound form of storytelling, in which characters matter far more than the endless expansion into multiple universes. What made the earliest entries in the MCU so great is that they introduced characters who each had their own stories within certain limits and didn't feature variations or the chance to change timelines. Dr. Doom presents a soft reboot and an opportunity to put the MCU back on the right path. Let us know what you think about Dr. Doom joining the MCU. Remember to hit subscribe before you go. Thanks for tuning in to CBR.